We are here today in Philippians chapter 3. So it starts off on a high note, and it says, "Rejoice in the Lord, brothers." And then it kind of goes into something else. But I think it's important to note that rejoicing in the Lord is the main theme of the rest of this book. He wants us to rejoice in the Lord. So he's saying, rejoice in the Lord. And then he's saying, I feel like I need to tell you something that I've been telling everybody else. And this is true. In every Pauline epistle that we have gone through so far, every single one of them has had a very big portion of it talking about the Judaizers, the people that are saying that you need to become a Jew before you can become a Christian. And so he's saying, he's just going to mention it for just half of a chapter here, but it's important, and I think he does it really well in this book. So he says, the ones I want you to beware of, and it's interesting, he calls them the dogs. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I think it has something to do with the fact that dogs are kind of like scavengers. Jesus calls there was a woman that came and he called her a dog because she was a Gentile. But this is a Jewish people that he's talking about, and he's saying people that would mutilate the flesh. Now that makes me think that he's saying it's wrong to be circumcised, but we know that it's not wrong to be circumcised. He's just saying the people that would cause you to be circumcised, it's not right. It's not necessary, and it's even harmful to the gospel because it hints that there is something that you can do for your salvation. So that's important to note, that a major part of what he is saying is that you don't need to follow the law in order to become a Christian. You don't need to follow the law in order to be saved either. So it's important to note that. But what he says is that, look, I have more reason to boast than all of those people. I have more reason to brag about my flesh than all of those people. He said, they're a Jew, I'm a Jew. And he said, not only am I a Jew, but I am a Pharisee. And not only am I a Pharisee, but I am a Benjamite. And not only am I a Benjamite, but I am a zealot. So he's a Jewish Pharisee, Benjamite, zealot. You can't get more elite Judaism than what Paul is. And yet in all of that zealousness and all that Pharisaical, bluster, he says, I count it all as rubbish. In other places it says, I count it as dirty rags. Maybe a more modern translation would be to say, it's toilet paper, Use toilet paper, that's all it is. Now, this is something that he was striving for his whole life. He was trying his very hardest to be perfect. And he just wasn't. It must have been such a major switch in his life to go from someone who is trying to earn their salvation over and over and over again, trying so hard to be perfect. And in the end, he says, look, it's garbage. It's toilet paper. Now, in the next section here, he's talking about, look, I haven't attained this. He's talking about how God, we have our righteousness through God. Through accepting his death, we accept his righteousness. So we are righteous, but yet we are not perfect. We are righteous, but we haven't earned it. So he's going through this section, and it almost seems confusing. It almost sounds like he's saying, look, you don't need to work for your salvation, but here I am, I'm going to work for my salvation. That's what I know he is not saying. He's making a picture here about like running a race. And he's saying, I run this race as if to win the prize. I'm going to win this prize. And it sounds like he's saying, yeah, I'm going to get my salvation, by winning, but we know that that's not. In fact, it's ridiculous if you say it. So it's like, if you read this part wrong, you can say, oh, okay, so Christianity is like a race, and if you run really fast, if you run faster than everybody else, you can gain your salvation. And it's not at all what he's saying. However, what is he saying? I think of it, he's using the race analogy, but I think of it as, what if someone came up to you? Now, I know for sure that I am a bad singer, but what if someone came up to you and said, I heard you singing, and you have a great voice. Now, if someone said that to me, I know in my heart that I would be like, I can't even accept that compliment because I want it so badly, and I know how horribly untrue it is. But if more and more people came up to me, even though I know, and I do, I am a bad singer, but if someone came up to me over and over again, and they're like, I heard your singing voice, and you have a great singing voice, there is a major part of me that would think, I want to live up to that standard. I want to have that singing voice. And so I think I would probably sing more. I think I would enjoy singing more. Knowing that I'm bad, I would continue to sing. I would build up my voice. I would try my hardest to do the best I could to even earn that praise that I'm getting. And you could say the same thing about sports, and that's essentially what Paul is saying, maybe not running, but football. Like, you would want, someone would say, oh, you're such a good football player. And you'd be like, look, I want that. I want that so badly. I want to know that I am living up to the compliments that people are giving me. Now, Paul is a Pharisee, and he is a Jew, and he is a Benjamite, and he is a zealot. He is someone who has been working his whole life trying to be perfect. And God comes to him, convicts him of his sin, and then tells him that he's perfect. So what does Paul want to do? He's thinking, I know, I want that. My whole life I've been trying to do it to gain my salvation, and now I have this salvation that I want. And what I really want is to just live up to the standard that God has already given me the righteousness of. He's saying, I want in the end for God to speak to me and say, well done, welcome in, you did a good job. You're a good person. And he's saying, I'm not that, but I'm running this race as if I deserve it. I'm running the race so that I might, by some small measure, live up to the righteousness that I have. So that is Philippians chapter 3. Have a great day. Bye.